Hello, hello, and welcome to Oracle Hour. My name is Sabrina Rising. I am a spiritual teacher and a psychic medium, and it's my honor to channel spirit on your behalf. Welcome to our broadcast. It's beautiful to be here with you alive this evening on Imbolc and the Snow Moon. So we've got two really beautiful themes are happening today. If you observe the pagan calendar, today is Imbolc, which honors the patron saint Bridget, who essentially this holiday represents the thawing of the earth, the end of winter and the beginning of spring. So it's actually the halfway point between winter and spring, and it's a beautiful day for rituals and offerings and new beginnings, planting seeds, and really setting intentions for new beginnings that are to come, that are still sort of gestating but on their way. And it's beautifully in alignment with the end of the Chinese New Year, which happens towards the third week of this month. We go into the fire horse, and today is also the snow moon. So there's lots of beautiful themes happening. The full moon represents letting go, and Imbolc represents new beginnings. So essentially out with the old and in with the new. And that's the theme for today. We had our Oracle gathering this morning for our Inner Oracle community members. We had a beautiful channeling event where we were live on screen on Zoom. And that we did some readings and some mediumship connections and some deep intuitive coaching. For those of you that are considering membership, the Inner Oracle Gathering happens every month, and it comes as a perk of your membership. So Lyra will put the link on here for you to join. There it is. And so once you join as a YouTube member, you get access to the Oracle Gathering, which is every month, which is what we did this morning. It's a 90-minute to 2-hour event. You also get access to our private Facebook group where I go live on Tuesdays. I do a deeper teaching. There's live coaching Q&A there as well. Lyra does intuitive tarot in the Oracle community, which is beautiful. And you also have access to all of my YouTube content, members-only content on my channel as well. So the benefit of being part of the Inner Oracle community is that you get to join our family. You get to learn how to be the oracle of your own life. You get to come to the gathering and heal in community and be supported and witnessed and seen in your healing process. And eventually, if this is something that you feel an inclination towards, you get to learn how to develop your own intuitive guidance and perhaps channel and develop your own gifts as well. Okay, so that's all there for you as you consider membership. Thank you for joining me live tonight. I can see we have members in the chat saying hi to each other. I love it. Hi, Vicky. Good to see you. Hi, Sybil. Vicky is a new member. We're celebrating her tonight. Yay! Thank you for joining us, Vicky. It was so good to have you in the gathering this morning. She says, hello, Sabrina and Oracle community. Hi, Sunshine and Beauty. Hello, Sybil. Hi, Patty. Good to see you. Hi, Shiloh. Good to see you too. Awesome. Vicky says, thank you. Amazing. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, we are live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And if you're not watching on YouTube, I can't see you unless you're on YouTube. So if you see me on Instagram, please say hello and then come join us at Sabrina Rising. Lyriel is managing the comments both on YouTube and Instagram. So come join us on YouTube and put your question in the chat. I answer questions on a first come, first served basis, unless, of course, you're an Inner Oracle member, in which case I will answer your question first. Okay. Tonight, we're going to talk about who's here tonight. Okay. So I'm getting to questions here in a moment. I will jump into readings and here we go. All right. So tonight, we're going to talk about this illusion of separation. Okay. And why the veil is really an inside job. It's about perception. Okay, so we're never disconnected. We might feel disconnected because we're going through a healing process, or perhaps we're going through a change, or perhaps, if you're new to this work and you don't have a spiritual practice, this might sound completely foreign to you. So I'll start from the beginning. We are all expressions of source consciousness. Every single one of us as human beings are created in our energetic beings that are expressions of this universal intelligence. You can call it God, you can call it nature, you can call it source, whatever word works best for you. Okay, so we're all incarnations of soul incarnations coming into this lifetime, and we've had many, many lifetimes. In my humble opinion, my direct experience, this is what I believe. And we're always connected to source. We're never disconnected from source. Okay, so truth, intuition, source are always present for us. We might feel disconnected because what fluctuates is our awareness. Okay, so you might, as I mentioned, if you're going through a healing process, if you're going through a big change, perhaps you've had a traumatic event, or you're going through a difficult time, there's something that you're grappling with, you might feel disconnected. Okay. In fact, you could be someone who has a very strong connection to source and feels the spiritual guidance, feels the presence of universal intelligence in your daily practice. And yet when, something major happens or major shifts in your life, you can all of a sudden feel disconnected, and it can be very disorienting. Okay. So I'll explain a little bit why that happens. Okay. So again, if you're new to this work, you're not alone. You're not an isolated being having a random experience. You are an expression of source consciousness. And the way that you connect to your intuition, to the truth, to spirit, these are all, again, synonyms of each other, is through developing a practice, right? So we need mindfulness and inner stillness. We need the breath. We need awareness. We need belief system and the willingness to have the discipline to do this on a regular basis in order to nurture this connection and feel guided. We're all guided. This isn't, I don't have some kind of unique talent that I can do this for you. I've just been developing my intuition and my ability to channel spirit for quite some time. And so anybody can do this work. I've trained many mediums and psychics and healers and facilitators to open up their channel and start hearing their own intuitive guidance. Okay. So again, we're never, ever disconnected. We have moments where we have a dark night of the soul. You could feel abandoned by God. You can feel like all of a sudden there's no messages or there's just nothing coming. And that's not because intuition isn't present or spirit isn't present for you. It's simply because your nervous system favors safety over presence, over truth, over connection, perhaps. And this is important to identify, because when we are feeling disoriented, perhaps an identity is falling away, or an old way of coping is dissolving itself from your life. Perhaps you've made a decision to stop doing something, or to shift a behavior, or to let go of something. And then all of a sudden there's this lack of familiarity. Like you might feel rudderless, or you might feel like you don't have the thing that you're used to leaning onto. And therefore this experience of disorientation can cause a temporary feeling of being lost or disconnected. Okay. So again, it's always the awareness that fluctuates. It's never the connection. We're always connected. People come every week and say, does spirit have a message for me? Do my guides have anything to say? Or I feel like I need guidance. Or I feel like I need something. There's always a message in spirit for us. There's always guidance available to us. In fact, all day, every day, spirit doesn't sleep. Spirit doesn't take a break. It doesn't stop. It's kind of like your subconscious mind. It never rests, right? It's always absorbing information. It's always taking in dreams. It's always experiencing, the fullness of the moment, even if your conscious mind can only absorb 10% of what's happening, right? So we're always connected. It's just our awareness that shifts, right? So it's really important to know this, especially in those moments when you feel disconnected. Okay. And when I say the veil is an inside job, again, our role here is not necessarily to accomplish things or to perform or even to fulfill a particular thing. These are things that feed us, right? It feeds our soul to do the thing that we feel most aligned with, that brings us the most joy, that feels like it's our sole purpose. These are things that can help us feel more alive. But ultimately, our purpose is the same. We all have the same one. And that's to awaken from this dream that we're separate, right? That's essentially what we're here to accomplish, is to develop this awareness that we are not our thoughts, we are not our past, we are not the events of our lives, we are not our conditioning, we're not our trauma. In fact, everything about this earthly experience is very temporary, okay? What we are eternally, what has no beginning and no end, and what is always true, is that we are consciousness. We are consciousness having a human experience. And so hopefully this helps you sort of take your circumstances a little less seriously. It can really help bring some perspective and some loving detachment from the current circumstances that can feel really painful. They can feel really intense and very raw, especially when we're going through them. If you have this perspective that I'm a spirit having a temporary human experience, and I'm here to learn from my circumstances, I'm here to take advantage of the opportunity of this pain, to allow it to expand me, allow it to humble me, allow it to crack me open so that I can have a deeper connection with my truth, with my higher self, with spirit, with God, with nature. Again, to me, these are all synonyms of each other. Whatever you choose to call that which exists beyond your 3D awareness in higher realms is what I'm referring to. And this is what we need, especially in our world today, with being inundated with all kinds of information and all kinds of misinformation. We need this connection more than ever so that we can be self-reliant and self-governing. Okay. And I can't say this enough. I feel like I talk about it every week. It's very important to understand that we are not separate. Not only are we not separate from God, but we're not separate from each other. And when we understand no separation, and we really understand that we're all expressions of consciousness, and each and every single one of us is having our own unique human experience based on our soul contract, based on our karma, based on the lessons that we're here to learn, based on the choices that we're making on a day-to-day basis, it really puts things in perspective, right? And it helps us to choose love and to see ourselves in a more compassionate lens and to see others with a more compassionate view of whatever it is they're choosing as well. We're not here to simply survive our earthly experience, okay? This is very unfulfilling. It's very empty. In fact, so many of my clients have worked very hard to accomplish great things, to achieve great status, and end up at some point in their lives feeling like, what was the point of that? What's it all for? You know, inside I feel empty or I feel chronically unfulfilled, because those things are just meant to perhaps expand us or show us what we can do or what we're capable of. But these are temporary sources of fulfillment. All right. There's nothing wrong with playing that game, the game of expanding your human experience. It can be a very fun thing, but ultimately what we're here to do and what will actually create real fulfillment is to develop this connection with spirit, with God, so that we can be self-sustaining and self-fulfilled. Okay. And this connection helps us feel resourced in every moment, even when there's nothing around us, when there's nobody else available. You know, you will always be there for you. Source will always be there for you. You, in fact, are the source of all of your needs. And once we start to really connect with this and understand that I'm not separate and I can source myself in every moment, I can amplify this feeling of fulfillment, and that energy will attract other people, situations, circumstances that match my vibration. Okay. So again, the veil, as I mentioned, which is not, there really is no veil. It's a matter of perception. There's no, like, even in mediumship work, we talk about the veil of loved ones that have crossed over. They're not gone. They've changed form. Right. And we experience this in mediumship, especially when we bring forward meaningful evidence that there is no separation, that we're always connected in eternal love. And this is just one example that I can cite of how we can experience the continuation of ourselves, of love, of our relationships, of life itself. Okay, always and forever, eternally. Right? We just have this one isolated human experience that we're referencing, and when we get stuck in the details, it can feel like we're disconnected from source. Right? So if you're feeling lost or disconnected, you might be going through a change, you might be going through some kind of awakening or some kind of spiritual initiation. Perhaps you're going deeper into your spirituality. If you're someone who's been practicing this work and you're like, what's going on? How come I don't feel the presence of spirit? Or how come I'm feeling lost or disconnected? It's just, you might be a little disoriented. And so the nervous system wants to, go back into safety and comfort and give me what I know, versus being comfortable in the void, in the unknown, and being able to hold that tension until you can relax and be present, right? So the best way to feel that connection again is not to try and get your intuition back. Again, we're not trying to force our connection with spirit. All we're trying to do is relax and cultivate presence. That's the best thing you can do for yourself in those moments, is cultivating the presence, which I would recommend the breath, the deep diaphragmatic breathing, hand over your heart, regulate your nervous system. This will help you ground and land in any moment where you might be feeling disconnected. It can be a moment or it can be an extended period of time, or you might need this regular breathwork practice. Presence over persistence. Okay, so just stay present and allow intuition to land and to arrive. Allow the connection to feel like it's alive again. Okay, there's nothing wrong and there's nothing to fix. It's just a matter of cultivating presence and deepening your practice, always with the implicit trust and the knowledge that it's impossible to be disconnected. Okay, we're always expressions of source consciousness, just like it's impossible for you to stop being who you are. Right? This is who you are. Of course, that is my message to all of you tonight, and it's my wish for all of you to get this and to really sit with it. Okay, so if you have any questions about this topic, it can feel abstract, especially if you're someone who doesn't have a regular spiritual practice. If you have any questions about it, please put it in the chat. I would love to discuss this further with you. And with that said, we'll jump into readings. Lyriel is here moderating for us tonight, so she will put the first question in the chat. Okay, good. Here we go. Hi, Patty. Good to see you here. Patty says, hi, Sabrina and Oracle family. A lot going on this week. My sweetheart is having heart surgery and starting a new job next week. Any guidance is appreciated. Okay. I'm going to give you some guidance. One moment. One second, I have my dog. One moment, Patty. I'll be right there with you. Okay, here we are back. So, okay, the heart surgery is going to go fine. You know, I know this is pressing and there's a concern about it, but I feel like it's going to be okay. You know, of course, I'm not a medical professional and I can't give medical advice, as you know, Patty, but I really feel like you just need to lean in to trusting that this is a procedure that needs to happen. In fact, it feels like it's long overdue. And it's, you know, notice your own tendency to abandon yourself in the caregiving. I want you to be cautious of that. Okay. I think obviously your partner needs you at this time, but it's really important for you to source yourself while you are taking care of him. Okay. And in fact, there might be a need to move in, or a need to be by his side, a need to be living in the same home for a little while, and that could become a permanent situation. Okay, so I feel that is actually on the table. But I again, I want you to really, I would only advise you to do this if you can really hold your own boundary and not sort of get lost in that, because I feel like you could easily lose your center. And I know we've talked about this before at some point. So I want you to trust that all is well and that you're there to support without merging, without giving too much of yourself away in the process of caregiving. Okay. So ultimately, you know, like I said, I feel like this was long overdue, and I know surgery is going to go well. He might have to go back for like a second smaller procedure, feels like, but otherwise he's on the mend. Okay. And you know, I want to say, when your partner's not here asking the question, so I'm not going to go too deep into his energy, but I want to say too that this feels like there's something around his ability to express his emotions or his feelings, or to share, to feel safe and loved. That would be valuable for the two of you to talk about in your conversations. Okay, so maybe you can invite him to talk more about that and share more about that, so that you know, his heart needs to heal, not just physically but also energetically. Okay. She says, I've been trying to remember what you advised in the past about setting boundaries. It is overdue but critical. Okay, good, beautiful. Yeah, I mean, now's the time. It's easy in the beginning of the relationship to forget, like, oh yeah, I have to go slow and pace myself and monitor, how much I give to this relationship or how much I'm willing to offer my energy. Keep in mind, you've already merged with this person energetically. So now you've tangled yourself and you've offered yourself as a caregiver, it feels like. So now it's just a matter of pacing yourself and setting those boundaries to make sure that you can be in this relationship without losing yourself. How to be fully in love without losing yourself is by honoring yourself first. Okay. So, and I think you need some outside help as well, like caregiving help as well. You can't take on this whole responsibility. You're the one who starts a new job next week. And it feels like this is, I believe it's you. So it feels like this is, this is again overdue and going to be very good for you. And you're going to need some time to really focus on the things that you're learning this new role, learning this new way of operating, and getting comfortable in your role. So you actually need space. You really do. You need space. If it's possible to prolong moving in together, I would really advise that. Maybe you can go visit a few days a week or be there every other day or something like that. You really need to stay grounded as you develop yourself and develop your autonomy. Okay. The autonomy is weak here. And that's part of the reason why when you meet somebody, it's like, oh, it's easy to merge with them and take on their issues and take on their life and take on their, the role of caregiver so that you can feel purposeful and you can feel needed in the relationship. Okay. And this is not unusual. This is a pattern I see often. And it just means that you just need to learn how to be self-reliant and learn how to love your own company and learn how to honor yourself first, honor your own needs first. Okay. She says he's completely supportive. Patty says he's completely supportive of boundary setting. Oh, good. His sister can help. Good. Home health, fantastic. We haven't talked about moving in yet, but I feel it's coming. Yeah, I feel it's coming too. This is within 3 months, you're going to come back and tell me, oh, he's asked me to move in, or this is what's going on, and so on. So this is on the way. It's already there. So the sister helping is good. The heart surgery is going to go fine. Don't stress about it. Like, I really want you to cultivate your own practice, breathe, meditate, and visualize his well-being. Visualize everything going perfectly well. This is actually the most helpful thing you can do, is to hold him in the light of healing and everything being restored. The blood is flowing properly and the heart is beating in a healthy way. And the capacity for love is available, right? It's on the mend. And so start visualizing that and sending healing energy his way. That's actually the most helpful thing you can do. Okay. In the meantime, from a medical perspective, it's all going to go well. I feel like he's in really good hands. And I actually feel like he got this spot relatively quickly. There may have been a cancellation or something. It feels like he got this spot relatively soon, and he's being well looked after. So there's really nothing for you to do except trust and to monitor your own worry thoughts and not abandon yourself in the caregiving. Okay. That's what I want to say to you, Patty. Okay. But all is well. Okay. You'll come back and let me know how that unfolds. All right. And blessings to your partner. And we're wishing him a speedy recovery. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hi, Angela. I see you. Hi, Danny. Hi, Sunshine. Hi, Sybil. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Okay. Who's next? Angela says, any messages for my guides tonight? Okay, good. Beautiful. Guides always have messages. It's interesting. You have a dog around you tonight. This is a dog from a long time ago. So interesting. So Angela, if you're still here, please validate. It's a bee name. It's a bee. It's a bigger dog. I want to say BJ. There is a dog around you, and we have spirit guides, spirit animals around us sometimes. And the dog is representing, for you tonight, he's representing loyalty, unconditional love, and a sign that Benji, could be. I feel like this is even before. This is even before that. There you go, BJ. That's who I feel. That's who I see. Here we go. Okay. So we're having some technical issues tonight with all of the energy. Okay, so yeah, okay, so it's a big dog. It's like it's kind of your first experience of a pet, feels like, or first experience of a in adult life of a pet, it feels like. And this dog is here to represent loyalty, unconditional love, and to remind you that it's kind of like reconciling that time in your life. That time in your life, there's something that you need to forgive yourself for in during that time of your life. That this, yes, my ex-fiance dog. Okay, a black Labrador. Yeah. Okay, good. A big black dog. Beautiful. Okay, that's exactly what I see. It's amazing how they just never leave us. And so it's kind of like he's bringing you back to that time in your life, and it's he wants. There's something you need to forgive yourself for. Okay, in this during this time, that you're still holding on to. There's some shame and some guilt and some fear of judgment and some fear of external, um, yeah, feeling ostracized, feeling outcasted, by your. She says, I'm working. Angela says, I'm working on it. Okay, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, good. Angela says, oh my God. Okay, thank you for validating. Um, yeah, there's something here. It's like it's like BJ is looking at you going like, you're a good person. You're a good person. You loved me. You took care of me. You know, he's there to remind you of loyalty, of unconditional love, of all the things that you also represent. And of all the times that you looked after him, even though he wasn't your dog. It feels like, you know, as you mentioned, he was your ex-fiance's dog. He's like trying to remind you of like, hey, you took care of me. And she says, Angela says, I do. You took care of me, and I'll never forget that. And you shouldn't forget it either. You should not forget that time in your life when there were days when I feel like he was your companion, you know, or you took good care of him. You were the one for him. You were the one that was there for him. And so to remember that you have, Angel says, thank you for saying this. You're welcome. To remember, it's interesting how spirit always decides like, this is what you need to hear in this moment, in this particular way, you know, using this guide, this particular guide wants to come through for you tonight. So, and I love it. I love dogs, as you know. So, again, it's about compassion and self-forgiveness and unconditional love for self. You know, she says, I'm not crying. She says, I'm not crying. It's okay if you are. You know, oftentimes I always joke, I'm not doing my job if you're not crying. So, and we love you. We have so much compassion for you. It's really important to receive that love. I feel like you've blocked out that part of your life. Like you just don't want to go back there. You don't want to revisit it, or you shudder at the idea. Or sometimes when you think about it, it brings up a lot of grief and sorrow and regret. Okay. So he's there to remind you that there were good times, and there were good times during that period, and there was love, and there was loyalty, and there was play, and there was real bonding, and that you are the source of that love, and that love has never left you, and to give yourself permission to feel it. Okay, to feel all of it. sometimes in our lives, we get an opportunity to revisit certain parts, certain themes. And the theme here is about letting go of shame and regret and really accepting that you're a good person, that you have, you've done good things in your life and you've been there for people. And people don't forget that. Okay. So it's what's most importantly is that you're not forgetting it, that you're acknowledging that I am a good person and that I deserve to feel unconditional love and compassion in my life. Angela says, is there a message from my ex-fiance? He's not in spirit. Ex-fiance is not in spirit. The dog is in spirit. Let me see. Ex-fiance is not in spirit. He's our sign. Let me see what I have. It's similar. It's kind of like, I feel like he has the same experience of that part of your life where it feels like he's blocked it out and he doesn't want to think about it, doesn't want to look at it, there's a lot of regret and sorrow around that time of your life, how he handled the situation, how he handled you. There is a lot of remorse, okay, around that, but there's not a conscious awareness that is willing to take personal responsibility for what happened. Okay, so you'll never get a direct apology from this person, not in life, not in on the earthly plane, but on a soul level, there is an awareness of how you were wronged during that time, and now there is a sense of regret and sorrow for the way that you were treated. Okay. And I feel like you were the victim of in that situation. So the message is, Angela says, interesting. So, and again, like I said, I don't believe you're going to get an apology while you're both still on Earth side, but you don't need that from him. What you need to know is that there's, the soul always wants to love, and it always wants to harmonize, and it always wants to reconcile, because that's why I still carry this. I know. Okay. Yeah. So, but you don't have to carry it. This is my message to you. Okay. And then I'll move on to the next question. My message, it's almost like BJ, the dog, is saying, let it go, let it be. Remember the good of that time. Remember that you're a good person. Remember that you didn't do anything wrong. It's what happened wasn't your fault. In fact, he's actually making me feel like you were the victim of what happened, whatever happened during that time, and it's okay because, you co-created this with your ex-fiance. This was the contract. This is how it unfolded. And it was meant to open up your heart and to expand you and to, increase your capacity for self-love, right? That's the lesson here is your capacity to let go, to forgive, to accept. This is the new moon tonight. As we talked about, the new moon is all about letting go. So perhaps a beautiful intention for you, Angela, tonight is to write out on a piece of paper all the things about yourself that you don't like, or that you regret, or that you feel ashamed of. Lyriel says full moon. Yes, full moon. Sorry. This is the message of the full moon, which is, letting go of this part, the judgments that you're holding yourself hostage to. Okay. Angela says, thank you for this tonight. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. It's good to read for you. And let me see what we have in the private chat. There we go. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Lyriel. Yeah. Angela says, I'm gobsmacked. Beautiful. That's how we do it here. She says, I will do that. Okay, good. I'm glad this was helpful. Please do the ritual and let it go. Just remember that you can thank BJ. You can thank the dog for showing up tonight and say, thank you for reminding me to love myself unconditionally, and for showing me that I mattered. I mattered then, and I matter now, and I'm a good person, and I deserve to have love. Okay. This is so important for you, Angela. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Hello. Who's next? Sunshine and beauty. What advice do you have for my love life? The relationship I'm in with a man is not progressing. I'm implementing some of the tools you suggested. I stay focused on myself, even when plans with him and I fall through. Good. Yeah, there's a lot of importance and weight and significance being placed on relationship. okay, with the man, with someone, with the external, with someone outside of you, okay? And I know that there's a longing for this, but what the longing is for is spirit, you know. I know it's not as instant gratification. It's not as sexy. It's not as, fulfilling or physically fulfilling as a relationship with another human. But what we want is a connection with source. This is the true source of love. It's the true experience of love, the true embodiment of love. And when you have that connection with source, when you're able to embody the love that you experience in your spiritual practice from source consciousness, from spirit, from your practice, whatever practice that is, you say you're trying to embrace some of the tools I've given you, keep practicing those tools. The relationship with self is the most important relationship you can cultivate. Okay. This guy that you're dating, I'll give you my psychic hit because obviously I want to answer your question and give you the spiritual guidance as well. This guy that he's sort of in and out, this is going to fizzle out. There isn't enough that feels sustainable. There isn't a solid foundation here between you and this person. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with this person. I don't feel like there's any red flags or anything like that in particular. I just feel like, there's a sort of an ambivalence between the two of you, and I think it's kind of going back and forth. You're not sure, he's not sure, you like each other, but there isn't there's a lack of depth here in what the two of you are experiencing. Okay. And so rather than, trying to force an outcome here or trying to make this work, really notice the work for you is to notice how you feel when plans fall through, what comes up for you. And that's the work. That is the pain that you experience, whatever trigger, whatever anxiety, whatever fear of abandonment or loss, or, oh, this isn't working out. Am I going to find love? The questions that the identity sort of kicks in and starts to grapple with, that's the work. That's the opportunity for you to sit and to breathe into your diaphragm and to put your hand on your heart and to really hold yourself in that space of unconditional love and self-compassion and learn how to fill your own cup. And the more you do this over and over and over again, the less you're going to long for something outside of you. The longing is attracting the wrong guy. And just put it very plainly for you. And that's not just for you, Sunshine Beauty. That's for anybody who's attracting love. We talked about this in our Oracle gathering this morning as well. It was a very similar theme. The longing is going to attract the wrong situation. It's going to attract more longing, right? Like attracts like. And so if you are longing for someone and you're dating someone who's sort of in and out and not fully committed, that's going to be reflected back to you. Okay, that's what's being reflected back to you. Sunshine Beauty says, yes, he barely shows up when it comes to me. When it comes to meet, yes, I have looked into love, into how I feel. I have started to become indifferent, wondering if I should end things. Well, I mean, here we are talking about it. Of course, you're asking me the question, so I'll always give you a straight answer. I think instead of focusing on whether or not you should end things with him, I think you should really focus on starting things with you. Okay, starting to put yourself first, starting to really prioritize your own needs, and really making it your work to sit with those feelings and to learn how to lead yourself through that suffering, through the pain of abandonment or the pain of like feeling like you're not lovable or you're not going to find somebody, all those limiting beliefs that aren't true. The more you work on embodying love for yourself, the less you're going to want this guy, be attracted to this guy, or even put up with this kind of behavior, honestly. Okay. So, and I say this with love and respect. It doesn't that include focusing on me, is ending things. If you put the focus on you, the answer will become clear, right? So I wouldn't put like I'm just saying to you, I wouldn't focus on like, is he the right one? You become the right one. And once you become the right one, the answer will be clear, right? So I wouldn't, if he's not showing up and he's ambivalent and he's sort of hot and cold, like I said, like he's sort of not fully in there, you are worthy of better than that. And the fact that you don't know that you're worthy of better than that it's not an automatic, I should end things, it points to where the work is. Okay. The work is you. It's your energy. Okay. I feel like you're someone who has opportunity to date. Like there is interest. There are men around you. You are attractive to men. And this is not a problem for you to have people in your life. This is not the issue. The issue is learning to love yourself and hold that standard of self-love to a point where you can attract the right person, the person who can meet you in reciprocal love and commitment and meaningful relationship. Okay. But that meaningful relationship has to start with you. It has to start with the one you have with yourself. Okay. There's no shortcut. There's no, bypassing that work. We have to do the work to love ourselves fully and completely in order to be in meaningful partnership. Otherwise, all we're ever doing in our partnerships is learning about how we love ourselves and how we don't love ourselves, right? The partnership is a mirror for that. It will always reflect back to you areas where you don't love yourself enough, areas where you need to love yourself a little bit more, areas where you might already love yourself. Like that relationship is a mirror, okay? And the people we attract into our lives are always going to point to that, okay? And Sunshine Beauty says, I guess I feel a need to be in integrity to end things before focusing on myself. And then another. Great. This is beautiful. I think that's a wonderful way to end things. You should call him up and say, I feel like we're connected, not connected. I feel like there's not enough here for both of us to move forward. I really would like to take this time to just kind of regroup, recalibrate, see what I'm looking for, really tune into what I'm looking for, and take that time before focusing on another, really taking that time to focus on you. Okay. Sunshine Beauty says, thank you for your patience. I'm just a little anxious about it. I have endless amount of patience for you and compassion. This is tough stuff. Loving ourselves is difficult. It can be challenging, especially given our childhood, your childhood in particular, as I tune into your energy, there's a lot of anxiety, especially around the relationship with father, the relationship to the masculine, like feeling safe in that relationship. If that's not modeled for you, it's not, your nervous system is wired for this type of dynamic, right? You're going to manifest someone who doesn't make you feel secure or safe in love because you don't feel safe and secure in love. So again, it's about doing the inner work to rewire your relationship to love, to loving yourself, to your capacity to receive love, to your belief around being worthy of love. And once you've done that, you're going to attract a different type of guy, and you'll be attracted to a different type of guy as well. Okay, you won't need this experience anymore. We always attract the people that are going to teach us how to love ourselves more, okay, or where we need to love ourselves more, okay. So doing that inner work is going to help you shift your energy and shift the kind of people that you allow into your life. Of course, this is true for you, and it's true for anybody watching, whether you're watching live or the replay. Okay, good. I will leave you with that. And I want to say hi to Rhonda. I saw her, and she's here. Hi, Rhonda. Good to see you. Okay, who else is here tonight, Miriam? Hi, Demi. Demi says, hi, Sabrina. I was curious to know if my guides see me relocating to a different home this year for work. Okay, your guides, I just want to correct the language a little bit. Your guides don't see you doing something, okay? Your guides are here to assist in whatever your heart's desire feels, your heart's desire is that you want to fulfill at this time. And if it's in alignment with your highest and best good. So it's up to you. You have free will. You get to decide if you're relocating. I'll give you my psychic hit because I know that's why you're here. I actually do feel like there's a relocation for you, but it's not because the guides want this for you. It's because you want this for yourself. The guides are simply here to usher and help and assist and bring messages and symbols of confirmation and affirmation that they're with you every step of the way. I think the relocating is going to be helpful for you because there's something very stale and stagnant about the energy that you're living in. And it's been a long time coming. Feels like there's a need to move out of this place and be in an environment that allows you to thrive, that feeds your creativity, that feeds your need for community, that inspires you, that activates your imagination. There's something creative that you're really good at that I feel like you're not doing enough of. And this relocation is going to help. It's going to assist that expression. Okay. So your guides are here to confirm and usher their assistance, offer their assistance as you move into this next phase of your life. And there are two in particular. I keep seeing two. So there's two in particular. That doesn't mean you only have two guides. It just means that we have different guides at different phases of our life, depending on what it is that we're doing. Okay. One guide in particular, just because it's so vivid for me, that I'll share it with you. Yeah, I keep seeing a piano. So this could be a pianist, it could be a musician, someone who played music, someone who wrote music, and it could be connected to a talent that you have or a gift that you have. Oftentimes, our guides are those who, in spirit, who mastered something. They mastered a craft in the earthly plane, and so they're here to help bring this inspiration or this connection to this creativity to help us master our own craft in this lifetime. Okay, so I feel like it's something connected to music, which is significant for you. And yeah, there's definitely two. The other one feels female, and it feels like an ancestor. It feels like someone that's in your bloodline that you're connected to. It's can be an aunt or a young representation of grandmother. Okay. And if you're still here, please validate, because that's always fun. That's always fun, and it's always helpful, and it always allows for better channeling. Okay. So there's two guides around you right now that are helping this move, this relocation, which is happening in 2026 for you. Okay. And she says, yes, I'm still here. Okay, good. So again, musician guide, music guide. I don't know who this piano is that I keep seeing. And there's this female ancestor. It looks like a great aunt, or like your mom's sister or something like that. Or it can be a grandmother that's presenting young. She is one of your guides as well. Okay. Move is happening in 2026, and it's going to be very good for your creative expression. All right. Interesting. I'm not sure who the piano is. Yeah, I would sit with it. I would really sit with it. It doesn't have to be someone you know in life. It can be someone you listen to, someone you look up to, someone that's in, someone that is has been a person of influence in your life that is no longer here. Okay, that can sometimes it's just guides that are not necessarily in our bloodline, but they've mastered their craft, and they're here to help us express our own creativity, to find our own creativity. Yeah, that's what I want to leave you with. Okay, so spend some time sitting with it and come back and let me know how that unfolds for you. All right, beautiful. Who else is here tonight? Rhonda says, Sabrina, please speak to me about using tarot cards. I'm questioning whether or not I'm qualified. Also, I'm currently working with a therapist, facilitating, guiding me through IFS. I watched Inside Out today. It provided new information as a result of my IFS. What do you mean by IFS? What is an acronym for? Please spell out your acronym if you can, Rhonda. Okay. And go back to her earlier question. There. Okay. Tarot cards are great, and there's nothing wrong with cards. I mean, cards are consciousness. It's consciousness that's pulling the card. It's you, it's energy, it's universal intelligence communicating to you through the cards, whether it's tarot, oracle, whether it's a pendulum you use, or any type of tool, copper rods. It's all consciousness communicating. And so when you the thing about tarot cards is you can go into storytelling, right? So the mind can get lost in the outcome and the storytelling, and it can, depending on where you are with your own conditioning, it can interpret messages and cultivate fear or attachments to outcomes. Okay, internal family system. Okay, yes, thank you for spelling out the acronym, not only for me but also for everybody watching. Internal family system is a fancy way of saying this is your ancestral inheritance as far as what you patterns, grief patterns, pain patterns that you inherited from your ancestors, from the generations that have come before you. Okay, so I like oracle cards for you better at this time, at this current phase of your development. And again, there's nothing wrong with tarot as long as you can use the whole message and interpret it as a message from your higher self, and not necessarily as a way to look into the future, as a way to control the future, to obsess about the future, or to try to determine outcomes. Okay. So again, it's guidance that's being confirmed from your higher self, through the tools that you're using. Of course, we do intuitive tarot in our Facebook community every Friday. Lyriel does this offering. It's a beautiful offering, and it's really about giving guidance. And it's about, what do I need to hear at this time? It's no different than the channeling work I do. In this moment, I'm channeling spirit on your behalf, letting you know this is what needs to come through for you. This is what you need to hear at this time in order for you to heal, in order for you to open your heart and go deeper within yourself. Okay. So that's my only caution around the tarot. She says, okay, I'm qualified. Yes, you are. You're qualified. Anybody is qualified to work with spirit. And you can work with spirit with tools. You can work with spirit without tools, as long as you have a proper context as what you're trying to accomplish. It's always the intention that matters. The intention is to receive guidance that will serve my highest and best good, to receive guidance that will serve someone else's highest and best good, to bring into the scene what is unseen, what I don't have access to, so that I can work with the energy more consciously, more intentionally. That should be your context around using tools, tarot being one of them. Okay. Rhonda says, I'm using cards, and cards and I are in alignment. Beautiful. Excellent. So that's good. Okay. That's a beautiful tool, and it's a beautiful way to confirm what you already know. Oftentimes if I pull tarot for myself, I see things in the spread and I'm like, I already knew that. I already feel it. And the tarot just confirms it. And this is true for those of us that do intuitive tarot, that do readings for other people as well. You can feel the message, and then the tarot confirms the message. Okay, so you are certainly qualified, and just make sure your intention is pure always. Okay, beautiful. Thank you for the question. What a lovely question. Who else is here tonight? Hi, Lovin. Good to see you. Lovin says, hi, Sabrina and community. How can I create more emotional clarity while I'm in the middle of healing? What is the next small step I can take toward clarity and inner peace? Breathe. Breathe and meditate. That is a step that you can take anytime, anywhere. It's completely free. You can pause in any moment when you feel triggered, when you feel upset, when you feel anxious. You can do it then, and you can also have a regular practice that you do regardless, just as a foundational tool, as a foundational way of connecting with spirit. The small step you can take is to just create, there's a need for, I'm saying this again with love and respect, there's a need for discipline and regularity in your practice. Okay, so it's fun to come and listen to messages and hear what spirit has in store for you, and to sit with it and integrate it. Hopefully you're taking notes and you're really applying the advice that I'm giving you. And that your loved ones want for you, and what you can do on your own in the meantime, as far as integrating this, is cultivating a daily practice. There is a need for that, for discipline and for looking inward rather than trying to look outward. It's less about what should I do, and it's more about how can I cultivate more presence and more peace. Inner peace is you. It's who you are. It's your essence, right? It's kind of like what I said at the beginning. We're always connected to source. We're never disconnected from source. It's just the awareness that fluctuates. So cultivating presence is how you create more inner peace in each moment. Levin says, I am. Okay, good. Beautiful. This is what is required for you. And you're very sensitive, Levin. You're very empathic. You're very intuitive. I actually feel like you have a good sense of what's coming. In fact, I believe we can all develop our channel and feel spirit and feel spirit guidance. And I believe this is especially true for you. In fact, you're kind of right at this precipice where if you cultivate your daily practice, you can start to connect the dots and feel the imagery, the symbols, the sounds, the messages, all the clairs being activated for you, so that you can make the best use of your connection with spirit. And that's how you can cultivate more peace. Okay, so peace, and again, it's easy to feel at peace when we're meditating alone. We want to be able to cultivate sustainable inner peace so that we're in those moments when we're triggered, we have access to that peace. We have a neural pathway in the brain that's been established that remembers to go to our practice, that remembers to go to the breath, that remembers that I am connected to source and I'm having a temporary human experience, that you can pause and take a few moments to center yourself and regulate your nervous system before you react, before you say something you don't mean. Okay, which is an important pattern for you to interrupt because it's an inherited one and it's one that continues to activate in your relationships. Okay, so this is what Spirit wants you to know. This is how you stay grounded, especially in your parenting. Okay, it feels like as well, like this is how you stay grounded, is to practice awareness in the moment so that you can ground and breathe and not react when you're triggered. Okay, that's Spirit's message for you tonight. All right, thank you for asking such a beautiful question. I really enjoyed answering it. Okay, do we have any more questions? Jenna is here tonight. Jenna says, hello, Sabrina and all. I had a dream of Andrew, and I left with a warm feeling, knowing he was doing well and actually happy. It was very moving. I also get signs from him. Any thoughts? My thoughts are your thoughts. I think that this is a beautiful I think this is a beautiful testament of the work that you've done to make peace with his passing, first and foremost. And so the fact that this came to you in a dream tells me that this is your subconscious that is allowing you to now move into a state of peace and acceptance and relief that he has passed, rather than grief or suffering or fear that he might not be okay, right? So there is a peace on a subconscious level, knowing that he's happy and that he's okay and that he's content and he's in a good place. I think your subconscious mind needs to know that, and it needs to reveal it to your conscious self so that you can remember that in your waking moments. That's why you had that experience, okay? And, of course, as a medium, I would tell you that this is true. But, our loved ones that cross over are always at peace. They're always, reconciling and doing the work their soul needs to do on the astral plane in order to merge back into source consciousness, and that the essence of peace that exists in all of us. Okay. So I love this dream for you. And again, to me, this is a testament to the healing work that you've done to create acceptance and peace and letting go of the pain around his passing. Okay, that's my message for you tonight, Jenna. Thank you for being here. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, we want to take this last comment here. Sarah is here. Oh, Sunshine Beauty says, I have a question. How do you fill yourself up continuously when showing up to channel for us weekly? Oh, this is great. I love this question. Sometimes I have to just zoom in because I can barely see. How do you fill yourself continuously when showing up to channel for us weekly? Sometimes when I use my tools, that usually helps shift my mood and mindset. I continue to be in a funk. Okay. So I channel daily, not weekly, first of all. and the other thing I want to say too, thank you, Rhonda, for being here. The other thing I want to say is my connection to spirit in and of itself fills me up. When I sit and I breathe and I take time to be in my own energy and I'm connected to love, the love within myself, I feel replenished. I feel resourced. Okay. So the reason you're in a funk, and this is not just you, I don't want to just single you out, but this is anybody who's developing themselves, who's using tools, who is, you could feel depleted if you're looking for answers or if you're trying to pull energy or if you're looking for specific outcomes, if you're forcing something. Okay. When I use my life force energy, when I use a lot of me to try and bring forward messages or to try and manifest something or shift something energetically in my own life, I can feel depleted too. This is normal. Okay, so what helps me again is to detach, unplug from my circumstances, to cultivate mindfulness, to spend time in my own energy, to spend time in solitude, to spend time in nature. Nature really sources me, and it allows me to fill up my own cup. And ultimately, I love myself, right? I've worked very hard over the years to learn to love all the parts of me, even the parts that I may not like in a certain moment, a behavior or a moment or a trigger or a reaction. I learned to have compassion for myself, so I really honor the relationship that I've created with me, and I try to maintain a very high standard of self-love and self-care. And this is what replenishes me. Okay. On a daily basis, on a moment to moment basis, even sometimes. Okay. So thank you for the question. I hope that was helpful. Yeah. So again, it's not about forcing something. It's really about allowing and cultivating presence. And sometimes you just need a good cry. You need to let the grief go, or the shame go, or the regret go. Self-forgiveness is a big, integral part of loving ourselves. Okay. So if there are things in your past that you haven't let go of, or you haven't forgiven yourself for yet, they can get in the way, and they can surface when you create mindfulness and stillness. Those things will come up to be felt, to be seen, to be witnessed, and to be healed. All right. So I just want to leave you with that, Sunshine Beauty, so that you can learn to be gentle with yourself as you develop a more loving and compassionate view of you. Okay. I'll leave you with that. And Sarah says, no question, just lingering and listening, staying open. Thank you for all your wisdom and guidance, and to everyone for asking vulnerable questions. Thank you for being here, Sarah. It's good to see you. And thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Thank you, Rhonda. Protect your energy too. Thank you, everybody, for a beautiful, beautiful broadcast. We had a wonderful gathering this morning. For those of you that are considering joining the membership, please do. We have a beautiful group that's forming. We gather every month. That's the link to join the channel. And for those of you that can't wait for the next Oracle Hour, our next live will be Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific. So we are scheduling that for next Thursday at 1 p.m. We're going to go with that time slot for now. And for those of you that don't want to wait, you can book a reading. There's a link to book a reading, to come and sit with me in one-on-one, so we can go deeper into whatever it is you're struggling with. And I can offer the guidance that you need at this time to be able to have the tools to move forward, to empower you, and so that you can feel guided and supported in your everyday. Okay. And I will leave you with that. I'm sending you all my love, and I will see you Thursday. Bye for now.